Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take a no-spoiler look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 74. This was a wonderful chapter, like most Kaiju number 8 chapters that flew by, and yet somehow this chapter gave me a feeling of greater depth than other chapters. I'll get into that later, but I am going to warn you, I can't discuss this chapter at all without saying a few things about it. I don't consider them spoilers, but other people might. So if you don't want to risk even the slightest spoilers, you can click away below to go check out the links below the videos to get a copy of my book, Humans Are Weird. I have the data. Humans are weird. We took a vote, or humans are weird. Let's work it out. All right, so chapter 74. On the surface, and this is the primary thing that I want to be cautious about, it's not a spoiler. This is, on the surface, simply an action combat chapter. Just like way back in the mid-30s chapters when Director General Shinamaya was pounding Kaiju number 8. That was a pure adrenaline pulse-pounding chapter, but it had a lot of interesting things in it. Primarily in these chapters where Director General Iso Shinamaya and Kaiju number 8, having completely surrendered to the Kaiju intelligence, were fighting, that was really where I began to get the strong idea that the Kaiju number 8 intelligence, or rather the little Kaiju that started all of this, that entered into Kafka to make Kaiju number 8, that Kaiju intelligence was a child. It had been taken away from Reno, who was its main support structure, because almost every positive interaction this intelligence had ever had with humans revolves around Reno because of the timing of Reno and Kafka's friendship. And then this little intelligence gets taken away from his support structure. Remember, Reno is the one who was essentially feeding Kafka, taking care of him, making sure this big idiot didn't starve to death or have poor nutrition. Remember, before Kafka met Reno, he was eating hamburgers. The opening chapters made a big deal about that. After Kafka starts interacting with Reno, Kafka starts, drinking more natural teas, eating a better balanced diet. So from the perspective of this little Kaiju intelligence inside of Kaiju number 8, Reno was the food provider, the caregiver. Then in the story arc with Vice Captain Iso I keep getting that mixed up with this chapter. So back when Director General Shinamaya was attacking Kafka, Director General Shinamaya stated that he was going after the Kaiju inside Kafka. So this was a direct attack on the little guy. And the little guy probably had enough intelligence to realize that. Then the little guy takes over the body. There's that big battle. But anyway, from the artwork, how Kaiju number 8 is presented when Kafka loses control, when it's purely the little guy, I got the distinct impression that we were dealing with a childlike intelligence, that the little guy was something of a child soldier, having about the emotional stability and mental acuity of a toddler. Now, why am I taking all of this time in a review of Chapter 74, which is Vice Captain Hoshina duking it out with a bunch of different kaiju, to go back and review all of this? And again, no spoilers, but Matsumoto in this chapter seems to be playing on this. You get, just as in the chapter with Director General Shinamaya, you started to get the backstory for Director General Shinamaya's emotional damage, and you started to get the hint that there might be more to that little Kaiju intelligence than just a raw beast. And in this chapter 2, we get some peeks into Vice Captain Hoshina's mental issues. Nothing new, nothing that we haven't seen in previous chapters, but it's framed in the same way that the dynamic between Iso Shinamaya and the little guy inside of Kaiju number 8 was. And this has me thinking about Kaiju number 10's mental state. Now, without looking at anything that happens in Chapter 74, let's look at what we know about Kaiju number 10. Kaiju number 10 was created directly by Kaiju number 9 to fight other Kaiju. Kaiju number 10 was created to be a weapon, but he was created with a full range of emotions, which was one of the first things that Vice Captain Hoshina noticed about him in the 20s and early 30s chapters. Kaiju number 10 appears to resent being created to be a weapon. Kaiju number 10 loves to battle and loves to fight, but desperately wanted to do it on his own terms. And we still don't know everything about why Kaiju number 10 turned coat. He might not. He might still be working for Kaiju number 9. And I saw nothing in this chapter that would sway that one way or the other. We still don't know if Kaiju number 10's stated reasons for cooperating with Vice Captain Hoshina are his actual reasons, or if Kaiju number 10 is a plant. But let's look back at what we know about the little guy and what we know about Kaiju number 10. It makes perfect sense, and again, only from the chapters leading up to this, that Kaiju number 10 also has a childlike personality. His emotional enthusiasm, his untempered reactions, they do seem to suggest it. Now, he was given command of other Kaiju, so he appears to have a higher level of refined intelligence than the little guy that started Kaiju number 8, but Kaiju number 10 is, by what we've seen, very young. He was grown in a pod by Kaiju number 9 within the past few years, probably, so Kaiju number 10 is a very young Kaiju. Now, I don't know what the average age span or development of a Kaiju is, but we could be looking at another very young level of emotional maturity here. Kaiju number 10 might be, instead of the toddler that the little guy appears to be, Kaiju number 10 might be a 10 or 12-year-old emotionally, and that would be consistent with everything we've seen. And it might also mean that whether or not Kaiju number 10 was acting in concurrence with Kaiju number 9's plan, even if Kaiju number 10 is effectively plotting and scheming through his supposed surrender, we might have a chance for even if Kaiju number 10 has not done a true heel-face turn, we might actually get a chance to see a true heel-face turn out of him if Kaiju number 10 ends up bonding as closely to Vice Captain Hoshina as this chapter seems to indicate. But again, no spoilers. Go read the chapter. The chapter was fantastic, amazing, and there were just a lot of parallels between the chapters with there are a lot of parallels between this chapter and the chapter where Kafka lost control to the little guy when fighting Director General Shinamaya. So that's my spoiler-free take on Kaiju number 8, chapter 74. What do you think? And did anybody else catch that moment? Nope, that's a spoiler. I'll get into that in my spoiler review. Hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the links below in my video to get yourself a copy of the book, Humans Are Weird. Short stories of human absurdity. Peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. I have the data. The first book of human absurdity. Humans are weird. We took a vote. Humans are weird. Let's work it out. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Powell's Books, Google Play, and author-signed first editions available from the author on the website.